Stevie B, we've got a 12-team Superflex PPR, 1.75 for the tight end, start 10. Are you going DK Metcalf in the 111 or Rashee Rice? Go ahead, man.
I'm going the package here. I mean, DK just got the deal. It seems like, or hopefully, they will kind of feed him the football if they're going to pay him that kind of money. Obviously, we don't know who the quarterback is as of yet, but we'll see what happens there. But then you got the 111 as well. It's a deep class. People are liking some of those late first-round picks, early second-round picks. There's running backs available. There could be some wide receivers that fall. We'll see what happens with the quarterbacks as well. But I feel like you can do a lot more with DK and the 111, even though I do like Rashee Rice. He's still a top 15-ish dynasty wide receiver for me. Value's a little bit low right now, but I'll take the package here.
So the 111, I guess people who are listening who are able to pull this off in their leagues, try to flip your 111 for a 26 first if you can. But let's say if that 111 were more like the 203. Okay, so DK Metcalf and the 203 are Rashee Rice. Now are we more so in the Rashee Rice range?
It's a lot closer. I'll
Kind of
still
right around there.
I'll still probably take the package, but it's very close. I can see either side depending on your situation, really.
Yeah, and let us know in the crowd as well what you think. But let's keep rolling here. We've got a question from the crowd. Josh Widmer got in here early. Thank you for the question. This is a 12-team Superflex PPR start 9. Running backs and tight ends get 1.5 PPR, he says. Would you be trading CMC for the 111? The league has 3 super teams and solid top 5. I'm not one of them. If you can't compete, do you just blow it up? What do you think, Ben? So would you be trading CMC for the 111? Sounds like he's not a contender. And there's super teams in there as well. So you blowing this up and just getting rid of CMC for that?
I mean, I'd love to blow it up, but I don't think I'm giving up CMC for that, especially if you're getting that extra, in that
The scoring
extra half
format.
PPR. Like, as much as you want to get rid of some of those older guys, nobody wants them right now, right? We're in the off season. Everybody's got the rookie fever. We've got rookie draft coming up. Like, nobody cares much about some of the older guys until we get towards the season. Wait till you see him in training camp and they're showing highlights of how he's catching passes from Brock Purdy and getting in and out of the line. People are going to want CMC at that point, or at the very least, once he's actually scoring points during the season, where I think you can get more than just the 111. You can probably get a first plus just being what the points that he can put up in this format. And it's a little bit shallow as well with the start 9. So, yeah, I think I'm going to hold CMC. I think I could get more closer to the season or during the season.
Yeah, and I guess if you're trying to trade CMC and you're looking like you're leaning towards a blow up, you'd rather kind of pursue wide receiver or a pick that could get you a wide receiver. What could be a positional, I guess, swap for CMC in this format, though? That's one thing. The league has to understand the format and what running backs are worth here. So
Right.
what could you get wide receiver wise for CMC, do you think?
I mean, I'd be searching some of those super teams, right? Who can use CMC and what's some of the wide receivers that they're not playing that might be on the bench, like Romo Odunze type, a DJ Moore, like somebody in that range, and you might even be able to get, a little plus with that. Being given up CMC with that type of power in this format. So I'd probably be looking at somebody in that kind of range. But you've really got to surf some of those super teams and see who they have available instead of just kind of picking a particular player, see who they have and who might be vulnerable, to give up one of those guys.
Yeah, good stuff there. I appreciate the question, Josh. So, Mr. Stevie B, quick question. What kind of dynasty player are you? Let's intro you to the crowd here. We've got 85 folks watching so far. Welcome. Good to see you. But yeah, tell us, what kind of dynasty player are you?
I am a hate running back, no running back type dynasty player. I own none of the top 5 dynasty running backs. I'm a guy that will build around the quarterbacks, build around the wide receivers, and get those running backs like when I need to. It just costs too much to get those high end running backs, and most of the time it's just not worth it, right? Obviously, depending on the league format, that can change. If you're playing, point for uh carry
Point per
or point
carry,
for
yeah.
first down, things of that nature. But I'll buy him when I need him. I like to rack up those third round picks, right? What can I buy during the season that's just way cheaper that can give me good production? So that's kind of the type of player I have. I want some ammunition if I can going into the season. This way I can kind of do what I need to do, and be able to buy some of those cheaper running backs from teams that are not, doing what they thought they were doing and they need to tank or give up some of those guys. So, I am the, Chuba Hubbard, Tony Pollard, all of those kind of guys, give me those guys for cheap.
Gross. Yep. No doubt. What's your favorite format? You're doing a startup, you're setting it up, you've got full control. What are your settings?
My favorite is Superflex, start 10, 12 team. Give me a 1.5, 1.75 tight end premium. I play in a couple 2-point, but it is a little high. So that 1.5 or 1.75 is kind of that sweet spot for me. But 12 team start 10 is what I enjoy the most.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, rock and roll. Let's keep going here. We got a hammer, and this is from, you can see under us, it says, get your trades answered, buymeacoffee.com/trades-in-5. So you can donate hammers, support the channel, and get your questions answered live. So we got Weed and the Blunt got us a hammer. Thank you very much, sir. This is a 12-team half PPR start 9. Okay, we got a lot of shortened names here, but we got Jaden Daniels, Love, A-Rich at quarterback. We got JT, Brees Hall, Tracy, Bigsby, Eckler, McCormick, and Wright. We've got Puka, Nico, London, Waddle, Marv, Odunze, Hollywood, Mims, and Dell at wide receiver. Laporta, Sanat. I'd like to say Sanat. We know his name's Sinnott. 25 picks, has the 112, 202, 212, and 312. And he has all his future 26 and 27 picks as well. Won the ship last year. Need to trim the roster to make room for rookies. What trades/moves would you be looking to do? So just to clean this up, this is a shallow format, 12-team half PPR start 9. Yeah, and I even did some trimming on these banners, man. There were some depth pieces. I think I got rid of, a couple tight ends. There's so many of these, clogger names, and he knows that he needs to trim and make some room. He's got these clogger names in a start 9, so a very shallow format. You're not playing these guys. So how are you helping them out here?
You don't need to make all the picks, right? I mean, it is a shallower format, so some of those guys are not really going to matter, but can you use those picks to tier up, right? Can you tier up some of those wide receivers, right? I mean, can you tier up from Jordan Love possibly? Your running back room is okay with JT and Hall. Tracy, Bigsby, you got some all right guys there, but yeah, can you tier up to some of those top wide receivers, right? CD Lamb is a guy that I'm looking to inquire. Not that he's cheaper than he's ever been, but he's just available, attainable, from just what happened last season. So, I'd be trying to tier up. Can I tier up from Jalen Waddle, Marv, Odunze? I mean, even Drake London. Can I get someone in that top tier? Using some of those picks. So that's probably what I would be doing in this sense, just kind of trim up of what you got there, some kind of packages you can put together. Nobody's going to want Hollywood or Mims or Dell right now, but
No.
can you tier up from where you're at is really what I'd be looking to do.
So would you has all his future 26 and 27 picks? So I guess first off, do we like this team to where we're comfortable trading away your future firsts in a shallow format? We like where this team is at. Let's answer that first.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with it, but I don't really think you need to do it here. Unless, you're in talks with somebody for one of those top guys of Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, or, even CeeDee Lamb, somebody in that range. But for the most part, I don't really think you really need to go into that, 26 pick. But if you have to, I wouldn't be opposed to giving it up if I'm getting one of those hammers,
Right. Yeah, I was just trying to determine if I'm okay trading away my future first with this team to go get one of those hammers. Because I'm looking at the pieces like Hollywood and all, like you said, they're going to have no value. So am I going to have to dig deeper? Because my best 25 pick at this point is the 112. So constructing, can we do Waddle the 112 and 202? Does that get you CD Lamb? Would you pay that easily? to move
Okay,
from
I'm
Waddle to
okay.
CD?
Yeah, I'm okay paying that. The team is already in good shape. You still got your picks for next year. Yeah, I'm good with that. This is why you rack up those picks so you can make a trade like that, so you can get one of those hammers, especially in a format like this where they matter, a little bit more.
How much does stacking matter to you? So you
Uh,
said you're shaking your head. It doesn't matter that much, huh?
No, I mean, I'm not going out of my way to do it.
Yeah.
If I have a Burrow Chase, awesome, which I do in 2 of my leagues, that's awesome to have, but I'm not going out there actively trying to do that. I like it more in like the flex position. Like if I've got a Jared Goff, can I play a JMO in the flex and just leave him there all year and play him every single week and not have to worry?
Right.
Like, that matters more, but no, not just stacking. It's not a big deal for me.
Yeah.
Unless you're in best ball, of course, but just regular lineup now.
I tend to use stacking actually as a way to find trade partners. So if I'm looking to get rid of a
Mhm.
player, it's like, okay, who's got, this quarterback,
Right.
and just see what that see if that person likes stacking. But
Yeah.
yeah, I agree. I agree with what you said, having just JMO live in your flex. If you've got Goff at the helm, like, F it, just let it ride. At least you can enjoy those spike weeks. JMO. Oh boy. Okay, let's keep going here. Weed in the blunt. Thank you very much for the hammer. Let's go back to the crowd and see what we got here. Cassius Carter, I look forward to our roster review coming up, sir. That is going to be a lot of fun. He says, "What's up, boys?" And then what is this? Stevie was on time, says Kevin. Is this a thing? Is this a thing,
What's
Stevie?
up,
Yeah.
Kev? I'm typically on time. It's usually the co-host that's not there on time, but
Hey, I'm hardly on time myself. That's why we started 8:33 ish on Tuesday nights.
Mm.
Let's see what we got here. Do we have any questions in the crowd? Joe Montana, definitely been in the this is an OG listener here for sure. Good to see you. This is a format I like here. So we got a 12 team Superflex PPR. It's 2.0 for the tight end, start 11. And for those who are new listening, you hear start 8, start 9, what have you. That's how many you play in your lineup each week, not including kicker and defense. So start 8, start 9, those are the shallow formats where you want to consolidate depth and try to get the aforementioned hammers. Start 11, like this one, is when you start getting a little bit deeper to where we got some names on there. Jaden Reed actually used to be relevant in a start 11. Maybe not even anymore, but you get the idea. Depth matters in these formats. Okay, so we got a 12 team 2.0 for the tight end, start 11. Caleb, Love, McCarthy at quarterback. We've got Nabers, Reed, Keon Coleman, Pearsall. And then we have Hawkinson, Kincaid at tight end. I was hoping there was going to be a bunch of picks because there weren't a bunch of players named in the start 11. Does have a bunch of picks here. 101, 103, 105, 7, 9. Has the 201, 206, 207. And he's asking, I think Warren at 103 is too early. And again, this is a 2.0 for the tight ends. Says take him and Loveland at the 105. Thanks. What do you think here, man? Deep format, tight end premium, 103. Warren, is that too early in your opinion?
I don't think it's too early because you could argue, mid first for, a 1.75. Like, so yeah, I'm okay with it, but I wouldn't just put the names to the picks right now. That
Right.
I would take the best player available, like see what happens, somebody might want those players as well. Maybe there's a trade that, arises during the draft, or on the clock that you can make. So I'd wait, to just say I'm going to take those guys at that spot, but I wouldn't be opposed to it per se. I think that's okay. I don't think it's too early. But there's a lot still we need to learn before we put those names there.
So let's do it this way. Let's take this as a roster that we're reviewing here. It's a lot of fun. This is going to be a hell of a lot of fun. What he has, he does have as a couple good core players. But what are you doing with these picks? 101, 3, 5, 7, 9.
Yeah, you're probably not necessarily ready for the 101 with some of the receivers that you have. So, I'd be okay with trying to move that pick if you can, but you do own a lot of the first round there with the 3, 5, 7, 9. So it's one of those where once you get closer to that rookie draft, there's more opportunities that are going to open up, but I'd be surfing now, who's out there that you can buy, with some of these picks. You don't necessarily need to make all of the picks. So, who's out there, who likes picks, who are some players that you can, buy that may increase in value, who are some guys that are undervalued right now. We were talking Odunze a little earlier. Can you buy him with one of these picks? So I'd wait until we get closer. You have good enough assets where you don't need to, make a decision right now, because there's going to be some better opportunities that come up.
Yeah, he says here, I'm looking to make some moves for vets, need
Mhm.
help at wide receiver, and only have
Wants to take
Jeanty
Jeanty.
penciled at 101.
Okay.
Would you do that? Just maybe just drive him off the lot. You've got off all those picks, and then just go from there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with taking them at the 101 as long as you can do something with the rest of those picks, right? So, there's a lot of veteran guys that you can buy. AJ Brown is another guy that comes to mind, a little bit undervalued right now at the moment. Can you get him for one of those later firsts, right? So I'd poke around and see what you can do for sure.
AJ Brown, would you give the 107 for him?
Yes.
Would you give the 105 for him? And this is a 12-team Superflex start 10.
That is a little closer, but yeah, if I'm contending, I probably still would. That's probably the range where I'm thinking about it, though. Anything higher, I'm taking the pick. But I think it's close there. Just depending on your situation. So if you're that one hammer away and you need to go grab them, I'm okay with giving up that pick.
Yeah, good shit. Okay, let's keep rolling here. We've got 3 hammers from Evers. I believe his name is Nick, but we're going to call him Evers mainly, I guess. Okay, here, I'm going to burp 1 second. There we go. A little seltzer action. Okay, we've got a 12-team Superflex, half PPR, full PPR for the tight end, start 9. Okay. Lamar, Caleb, Fields at quarterback. And thank you very much, Evers. We have Brees, CMC, Warren, Hunt, and backups at running back. Amon-Ra, DJ Moore, Sutton, Hollywood, Myers at wide receiver, and then Njoku and Cade Otton at tight end. 25 picks has the 105, and then 26 picks wise has his first, a 26 second, and then his 27 first and second. It's a mid-activity league. He says he's thinking he needs to get younger at wide receiver, and he asked for savvy ways to do that. The 105 is kind of a dead zone for me in this draft. He says maybe Tet or running back 3 falls there in that In that case, I draft them, ? But other than that, what would you use that 105 to get? One of my good friends is in this league, has the following wide receiver room and draft picks. Okay, so he's trying to scout, making a trade with his friend. Nico, Puka, AJB, Garrett Wilson, JSN, BTJ, and has the 104 and 112. So obviously has some attractive stuff there. Yes, sure, we would like a couple of those wide receivers in those picks. But what do you think here? What was the question? What would you use the 105 to get if Tet or running back 3 doesn't fall there? Basically, what are you doing with that 105?
Go back to his team real quick.
Yeah.
Let's see what he got here.
Yep. So Caleb and Lamar at quarterback, Brees, CMC at running back, and then Amon-Ra and DJ Moore at wide receiver, basically.
We just talked about AJ Brown. Is that a guy that's attainable for, the 105, depending on your league there? So that's something I would go for on that team. I'm not looking to give up really anything for next year as of right now. You do have Amon-Ra and DJ Moore. I mean, they're not particularly old per se. I mean, you can't always have the youngest players and expect to win, right? You got to have some sort of mix, between some of your veterans and some of your young core guys. So, I mean, with Amon-Ra and DJ Moore, that's nice. But yeah, I think AJ Brown. Go back to the other team real quick.
Yeah. The other team has AJ Brown, Nico, Puka, Garrett Wilson.
I mean, AJ Brown, Garrett Wilson are probably the most attainable of those. maybe JSN just with Cooper Kupp going over there. So some people are a little worried about that. I'm not necessarily, but yeah, can you get one of those guys? I mean, those would probably be one of some of the guys I'd shoot for there. I don't think you're getting BTJ. Obviously, you're not just getting the 104, and I wouldn't want to just move up one spot anyway. So, yeah, if I can get one of those guys, I'll take them. Otherwise, I'll take best player available at the 105. And then, of course, don't forget you'll have opportunities on the clock, as well to move that pick. So,
sure, yeah. There's no huge rush.
no rush.
Obviously, there's no rush. And if this is my friend and he's got the 104 as well, I'll be like, hey, I'm about to give you back-to-back picks, 104 and 105. Right. I'm using that as like a little bit of, leverage or whatnot, trying to at least tactfully mention that. All right, rock on. Evers, thank you very much for the 3 hammers. Appreciate you, Mr. Nick. Okay, let's go back to the crowd here. Keep on keeping on. I saw one from John Betts. He's got a 10-team start 8 1 QB league. Okay, so this is a shallow league, but he's saying the league is voting on adding a flex spot to move to start 9. Any reason not voting yes for this? The vote is yes. Just the vote is, hey, while we're at it,
right?
let's add 2 more. But no, yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's good stuff. You want to move in that direction, moving to a start 9, and that's a sign of a healthy league right there. So yeah, let us know, John. Make your vote. Hopefully you're not the holdout. Everybody's like, hey, what the hell, man? We're trying to be a start 9.
Just vote yes. It makes everything a little bit better. It makes it a little bit deeper. The picks are valued a little bit more. More trading can happen. So yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. No league shaming, but if you play in like at least a start 10, but if you play in a 12-team start 11 or something like that, you realize how much there's grinding and the grossest players. Like it just makes it more fun when so many more players matter and when more picks matter. I don't know, but again, no hating. Let's go to another interesting format here. So Kevin, who's your boy, who's making fun of you for being on time. 16-team 1 QB start 9. Give my 101 and 109. Receive JT and Garrett Wilson.
Receive JT and Garrett Wilson. Start 9.
16-team.
I don't think I'm doing it.
No.
I don't think I'm doing
it.
No. I'll hold on to the picks. Again, like we said before, there's no rush. Surf around for a better deal. There'll be a better deal that comes. That deal will be available on the clock as well. But no, I'm going to keep the 1-1 and 1-9 there.
Yeah, there's no reason to do that right now, because I think it's like a Jeanty and JT. It's like I want Jeanty so much more. And then I want Garrett Wilson over the 109, but it just doesn't come close to making up the delta between JT and Jeanty, and then also just the value of picks versus the players as we stand today. All right, rock and roll. Let's keep going here. We've got this one from Matt Glore. This is a 12-team 1 QB start 8 PPR. Has the 102 only as his picks. Team is Daniels, Mahomes, Bijan. Daniels and Mahomes at quarterback. Bijan Wright at running back. Nabers, Marv, Rice, Diggs, Downs at wide receiver. And then Strange, Likely, and Fergie at tight end. Trade up for the 101 and get Jeanty, right? That's the question.
I mean, not necessarily.
Has the 102.
I'm fine with the 102, taking the next best running back if that's there, or is Tet the next, best wide receiver that's there. So, no, I'm not just going to move up to the 101 to get Jeanty. I don't think that is worth it. I'm fine staying put instead of having to give up another piece, to go get the 101. I'm good with staying put there.
Because you would have to give up something significant too, because you're not going to be able to give up just the 102 and Josh Downs to get the 101. Like Rashee Rice will have to be in that conversation. Maybe it could just get really gross. It could get very expensive, and it might not be necessary.
It's not worth it. Take Hampton at 102 and be happy.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, let's put this one down here. If you ask questions, we actually need them, which is surprising. We must actually be doing pretty well. We didn't answer Sam's though. So this is a 10-team Superflex start 8. So another shallow league here. Maye, Stafford, Levis at quarterback. Then we have James Cook, ETN, Chuba Hubbard, BRob, Aaron Jones, Gorendo at running back. Higgins, Rice, JSN, Cup, Diggs, Leggett, and Kirk. And then has Ertz and Njoku at tight ends. The 109 has the 109. Traded Dobbs and second and third round picks for T. Higgins and a 27 third mid-season. Need QB moves. So that pick there, trading Dobbs, a second and a third, and got Higgins and a third, ended up looking like a pretty decent trade. But he says needs QB. So what do you think about moves? Has Maye, Stafford, and Levis right now.
I mean, it's a 10 team. I'm not opposed to necessarily going into the season with Maye and Stafford per se. Obviously, Levis is probably a lost cause at this point, but I mean, Cook, ETN, Chuba, Higgins, Rice, JSN, Cup, Diggs. I mean, yeah, it's shallow enough. Can you get rid of some of those? Diggs, Cup. Can you somehow try and get a quarterback? If you don't necessarily have to. I'm not going quarterback. I'm okay with Maye and Stafford right now. When you need to get one, you can go and get one. But being that it's a 10 team, there's going to be quarterbacks available. I'd probably just hold at this point and try and do anything else to upgrade, the roster, whether that's running back or wide receiver. That's probably the route I'd go. I probably am not shopping around for a quarterback right now.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Don't get don't get the blinders on or whatever the phrase would be, thinking you need quarterback, because honestly, you need like help all over the place.
Right.
Like it's a sketchy team. It could get gross real quick. So I would be, well, I guess I don't want to be too mean to this team, but you see what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Like we've got Rice and Higgins and JSN, excellent. James Cook, sure. It's just in a start 8, in a 10-team start 8. This team is not there, is what I'm getting at.
Right. And what quarterback are you going to get that's going to be so much better than a Drake Maye or Stafford at this point? So, do you start to just, do you start to blow it up? Right. I mean, Higgins, Rice, and JSN is nice, but Cup, Diggs, Leggett, Kirk, Ertz, Njoku. I mean, literally everything can go, maybe except for Maye. But yeah, I'd be looking to trade absolutely everything, and try and just restock, because especially in this shallow of a league, like you need a good team really to compete. And the team's not horrible, right? But is it enough to really win? That you've got to look at the other teams in your league and say, do you really have a chance?
Yeah, in a 10-team league, I mean, I have to think that this team finish in 8th place or something like that.
Right.
Maybe.
Right. So can you get rid of Cook? Can you get rid of Cook right now at running back, who everybody is loving, just came off a great season, scored a bunch of touchdowns? Is he going to do that again next year? Do they get somebody for the goal line? Like, it's weird with James Cook. Like, they don't want to give him the reins, but
right.
Like they did because they kind of have to. But even it was just weird sometimes the way they used him. But I'd be looking to move him. He has some value right now. So, can you tier up at wide receiver somewhere and start to build that way?
So you've mentioned Odunze a few times tonight. What are your thoughts on him? And if you're trying to trade for him, what kind of approach would you take?
Well, Odunze is just one of those guys, and I like DJ Moore too, but he's one of those guys where didn't really break out last year, so people are a little bit down. Now with even with DJ Moore there, people are still a little bit down. Don't necessarily believe in Caleb Williams, and some do. So it really depends on the league and who has him. If he's going to be available to kind of get for cheap there. But I'm moving any type of probably 105 and up, 104 and up, give or take, for a Rome Odunze if I can. Can I trade some, running backs, right? Can I somehow get Odunze, who needs a running back, right? Depending on your league. We talked about some of the shallow leagues earlier. Can you get one of those, Odunze's where people might not need them, especially on some stacked teams where they have guys that are producing, right? So they need that running back. I'm looking to move any of those older guys that I can, add a pick to it. I mean, a Terry McLaurin is a good example of a guy who's putting up good production that a contending team might want. So can I grab Rome Odunze, add a little something to Terry McLaurin, maybe a early second if you have to, and go get a Rome Odunze somewhere in that sort.
So, because I was wondering what the delta is maybe between like James Cook and Rome Odunze. If somebody wants a running back and they have wide receiver depth, then maybe that's at least a conversation. Would you give, and let's assume you're not like that big of a running back hater. Let's assume you're like market, street legal. So like James Cook and the 201, would you give that for Rome Odunze?
Probably not, just because the way that some people value James Cook, I feel like that'd be too much where, to give up to go and get Odunze. I
So
think
it's
people
almost
would.
right there. It's almost
Yeah,
right
you're
there.
right, right. You're almost right there in like a straight up, 1-1 trade, as far as that's concerned, for most people. Now, everybody's different, so it really just kind of depends. But yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's keep moving here. Let's go to I love this name. Big Breakfast. And what is that avatar? Oh, is that from like what's the name of that freaking movie with the little gremlin things?
Uh,
Come on.
I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember the name.
Yeah, because you're probably much younger than I am. So we'll go to Big Breakfast here. It has a 10-team start 11, Superflex, it's PPR. Trade away Aiyuk and a late 26 first, which says is his, for the 108 and 204. Aiyuk is my wide receiver 5 behind JJ, Lamb, Nabers, and Devonta Smith. Also have the 102 this year and likely a top 3 pick in 2026. So the trade again, this is a 10-team Superflex PPR start 11. It's giving Aiyuk and a late 26 first for the 108 and the 204.
I think I'm keeping Aiyuk in the first, really. I don't want to give up just to get the 108 and the 204. I mean, no. You could argue Aiyuk in the 108 is close enough, and then you're giving up a 26 first to get a 204 kind of. So no, I'm holding on to Aiyuk for that, instead of doing that. There's no reason really to do that. You don't know who's going to be on the clock unless the league really values those picks really particularly high, and you can really do something more with those picks than you can with Aiyuk and the 26 first. That's the only case that I would even really think about doing it. But otherwise, I'm just holding on to Aiyuk in the first on that, because Aiyuk's value is most likely going to go up once we get towards the season. Once he starts catching passes, he gets in the game. Like, we know how it works nowadays, especially with some of the newer dynasty players. It's 1 week at a time. Aiyuk goes off that first week and wheels up. He's worth an arm and a leg. So yeah, I'm holding on to him.
Yeah, so basically it sounds like if your motivation is if your end goal is making those picks, then don't do it. It's not worth it. The 108 and 204. Yeah. Good stuff. All right. Big Breakfast. I still can't remember that damn movie.
It's a Furby, he said.
Yeah, it's a Furby. It's okay. All right. Is there any old people in here who can? Yeah, the Gremlins.
Other than
Was that
just
the name?
Gremlins, if that's
Was that the name
movie?
of it? I guess maybe that was the name of the movie. Maybe I answered it a long time ago. Okay, let's go to Cassius Carter here. He has a 12-team Superflex start 10, 1.75 for the tight ends. Baker, Goff, Cousins, yeah, and then has Monty, BRob, Javante, and quality backups. Oh, that's good. Has JJ, Nico, Rome, Myers at wide receiver, and then Andrews at tight end. Has the 106 and 406. All future picks plus an extra 26 second and an extra 27 first. So he gets an extra Jeremiah Smith. Nico and the 106 or Amon-Ra package.
Package easy,
Yeah.
Easy package. I don't think they're that far apart.
They're not
in the first place.
They're not. I happen to love Amon-Ra and I love Nico. So they're very. I still like Amon-Ra more, but no way am I giving up a 106. No. I wonder if part of it is we were talking stack earlier. We're looking at a golf team here. I wonder if this person is this person, Cassius Carter. I'm gonna be talking to Cassius Carter next week. We'll discuss this, sir. But
it's not worth it.
It's not even. No. Yeah, you don't even need to make that move. You don't even need to make that move. What is this right here? Oh, well, shit.
Oh, there's
more of the trade. Mr. Cassius Carter. All right, so here we go. So this is Nico and the 106 or Amon-Ra, Chase Brown, and Kelsey. All right,
it's still Nico. Here. It's still Nico in the 106. I mean, Chase Brown I like, but at the same time, is he the running back of the future? Are they going to draft somebody? He kind of just walked into having the workload last year, right? With injuries and things like that happened. So, do they get someone else in there? Maybe he is the running back one, for this year for them. Maybe they don't pick up anyone else, but I'm still going to take the 106 and Nico over that because you could always draft a running back at 106 if anything. So yeah, I'm still taking Nico 106.
I concur.
Kelsey does not move the needle. So
yeah, I've got a couple Kelseys who are just gonna die on my rosters.
What you got to do with especially a player like that, where he's just never gonna be worth enough for you to just give him up. You might as well just hold him till he dies on your squad.
Yeah, no, 100%. Okay, so Perry just has a question here. Perry Hazelwood the fourth. What about T. Higgins or Odunze?
I'll take T in that offense. They're still relatively close though, but I have T ranked slightly higher than Odunze. So if you're just going player for player, I'll take T.
Mm-hmm. I put up his correction on his spelling. He fixed his spelling, so I would. I'm gonna call him out by switching this banner. So you're taking T, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still taking T. And like I said, it's close enough. But if you're just gonna pick one player over the other, then yeah, I'll take T in that offense. For sure.
So Matt Wind says in a super flex league, would you trade Stroud for the 101? Or should I play it smart and keep the QB? My other QBs are Fields, Penix, and Carr. Stroud or 101?
I'm probably just holding on to Stroud here. I don't think your quarterback room is good enough. Even though Fields is a starter and he got the little 2-year contract, he might be a good fantasy quarterback, but is he a good real life quarterback winning football games that's going to get another contract? I'm not comfortable giving up Stroud here for Jeanty. No, I'm holding on to Stroud.
Yep. Okay, I just saw something. Jay says something like, hey, you skipped me, not fair. Do me a favor, Jay. I got you. Just make all right, what is this? What about Malik and Jay Jetties? Nabers or Jefferson?
It's lateral. I mean, I prefer Jefferson, but not by much. I mean, they're in the same tier, you can say. So whoever you like better. I don't think it matters.
Kevin asks, how often do you guys get 3-way trades done? Everyone I see someone loses bad. I haven't done a 3-way trade in forever, like maybe 3 years ago or something like that. I just don't even mess around with it.
I've pulled off one, but it's just too many moving pieces. Everybody always wants a little bit more. And you're right, Kevin. Somebody always does get fucked some point at some point.
Yep.
So yeah, and you're like, what the hell? They gave up too much. And then yeah, so typically there is one that really loses, but I don't get much of them done.
This one from Aaron Fit and says at the end, possible blockbuster. Rome and the 101 for Justin Jefferson.
It's not horrible, but I mean, again, what's the situation? You know, why just going up to Justin Jefferson? What's the rest of the team look like?
You have to be so
It's
asset rich to
right.
do a move like that, right? I
Right,
mean,
because, you can do a lot with the one-on-one as well, like, you can fill up your squad, you can get a couple good pieces, tier down if you need to, um, so unless you've got a ton of assets and a great team and you just, want Justin Jefferson, then fine, but in a nutshell, I'm probably not doing it.
yeah, no, definitely not. Okay, let's go to Eric. Has a 12-team Superflex start 9. We got Jaden Daniels, Kyler, and Tua at quarterback. Chase, Nico, Garrett Wilson, Marv at wide receiver. CMC, Ken Walker, Jacobs, Chase Brown, and Tracy. And then at tight end has Kittle, Kraft, and Michael Mayer. Runner up last year, owned the 102 from an old trade. How do I get over the hump? Okay, so again, it's shallow, 12-team Superflex start 9. How are you getting over the hump with this? You do have the 102, which is nice to have. What do you think?
I mean, I think you were right there. It's not, getting over the hump could just be a little bit of luck, right? It could be,
Mhm.
Garrett Wilson being a top 5 wide receiver. It could be, Marvin Harrison, doing what he thought he would do this year, right? Does he finish as some kind of wide receiver one? It's, can Kenneth Walker stay healthy? Can CMC stay healthy? Does Kyler have a better season? Which in a down season, he was what, QB 10, I believe. So does he have a slightly better season? I mean, you're right there. There's not much really to get over the hump with, but you got the 102, so you can take best player available there. Or you can move that pick, during the draft there. So you've got a couple different options. I would, shop around the 102, see what is available for you to go, to go out and get out there. Can you do have Daniels, you do have Kyler, you do have Tua, like you're fine at quarterback. I'm not touching that. Running backs, can you somehow tier up from a KW? But I'd rather probably tier up from a Garrett Wilson or Marv if you could get
Mhm.
another, one of those hammer wide receivers. To line up with Chase and Nico. So that's probably the route I would go. But again, it's one of those things where it's not no rush. You're right there. It's not really about getting over the hump.
It's
You
right
were
there.
you were literally there in the championship, and all it could have took was a couple different plays and the way they panned out for you if to one. So I mean, you got Kittle. So does Kittle continue to do what he did last year? So there's just a bunch of variables, obviously, that you can't control. But the team, it looks good and obviously is good if you were there last year. So continue doing what you're doing, and don't panic and don't make any stupid trades.
Yeah, you could do anything with
Right.
this team, like you were saying with that 102. I mean, you can kick back if you want and just kind of, bolster your future because as it stands right here, this team can clearly win in a start 9. So yeah, chill on that. Don't sweat spending your money right now. Lots of options. Knock on everybody's door. Okay, let's go to let's see here. Let's go to Christian. Aaron Rodgers, Christian Watson, 26th third for Devontae Adams in the 205. He says this is a 2 QB, 2 flex. Okay, so
QB. Okay.
Rodgers, Christian Watson, and a 26th third for Devontae Adams in the 205.
I mean, I'll probably lean the Adams side, but without knowing really your situation. I mean, is Aaron Rodgers just guy on the bench?
Oh, here we go.
What's your
Here's
situation there?
the
Next, Rodgers.
Yeah, it has Bo Nix, Geno, Rogers, and then JT, ETN, Jamar Chase, Rashee Rice, McBride, Ridley Olave. And he says has the 101 and 110 left. Okay, so has Nix, Geno, Rogers. Okay, this is a 2 QB. And the question is trading Aaron Rodgers, Christian Watson, and a third for Devontae Adams in the 205. And you still have the 101 and 110. Just a weird trade.
It's a very weird trade. I mean, I'll probably just take Devontae Adams in the 205 because I feel like there's just more value on that side. I don't think Christian Watson matters. The third, okay. Aaron Rodgers, I mean, hasn't even signed yet, but most likely will. But how much can you really trust him? The only thing that worries me is obviously it's a 2 QB, and
Yeah,
you kind of want another QB, but is Rodgers really the one? Like I'll just take my chances on any backup that possibly could, get a starter or something like that. So yeah, I'll take the package.
So it's less a situation, I guess, if you're as down and dirty as talking about Aaron Rodgers, you're not so much worried about him and the 2 QB format. You're more so looking at him as like kind of a bottom QB asset. So it's kind of irrelevant. Didn't say that quite well, but I think I know what you mean. Okay. Thanks. I'm gonna end up getting sick. My whole family is sick, like bed sick. So I will be there soon. Okay, let's see here. Matt Wind says, "Good work, fellas. Appreciate your insight." Hey, we appreciate you, Matt Wind. Is that a Twins hat? What am I looking at there?
Yeah,
The avatar.
looks like it.
That's Twins, right?
Like it. Baseball field, yeah. Stadium.
Yeah. Where are you from, man? You sound like you're from Boston.
I'm from Staten Island, New York.
From New York. All right, good shit.
Yeah.
Good shit. Okay, let's go to the zone here. Thoughts on JJ McCarthy's value? Yeah, where's your head at on Mr. JJ McCarthy?
Well, now that they're pretty much not getting Aaron Rodgers, I think his value has shot up, right? People want the quarterback in that offense, right? They're throwing the football. So yeah, I love JJ McCarthy. I mean, I'm good trading probably up to the 1.5 really for him. So once you get down to the 1.4, 1.3, it's kind of close. But yeah, I'm like 1.5. I'm good taking McCarthy. I like his upside a little more than what you might get there at those spots. So yeah, I like McCarthy. I'm a Viking fan, so I might be a little biased towards that as well. But I think he's safe. We run a good system, and so yeah, give me McCarthy for sure. We saw what Sam Darnold did, and in this dynasty game, it's a lot mental, right? A lot of it is just mental. So that all it takes is one game, and boom, his value is shot right up. So
yeah, his would too. His would too. Let's go to Lucas right here. This is an interesting format. So eight team start 11. JSN and the 27 first, or Pickens, Mike Evans, Brian Robinson, and Dalton Kincaid. 8 teams start 11. JSN and a 27 first, or Pickens, Mike Evans, BRob, and Kincaid.
I mean, I don't see the reason to give up a first for those type of players. So I'm probably just keeping JSN in the 27 first. I know you're getting a lot of good players because it's a start 11, or not, I wouldn't say good players, but getting a lot of players for the start 11. But I'm not giving up the first and JSN to get any of those guys. I think that's all replaceable level production. So I'll just find that elsewhere if I need it. I'm not giving up my first for sure, or JSN.
No, those are the two best pieces in the trade are on that side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. In that shallow format, you just want the best piece in the deal most of the time. That should be your default.
Yep.
So let's go to David Ross. Hey, you skipped me. So this is a 12-team Superflex start 10. He mistypes, he said. So 12-team Superflex start 10 full PPR. Bo Nix and the 103, or Lamar Jackson. Other QBs are Purdy and Stafford.
I'm okay with Nix and the 103. I don't
give me Bo Nix. I love Bo Nix.
Yeah, that might be what it costs to get Lamar, but strategy wise, like, is there really a necessity to go out and get Lamar? When you can do so much more with the 103. Bo Nix has been a good quarterback. He's going to continue to be fine. Purdy's a little bit undervalued at the moment, but he's solid every year. And then you got Stafford there too. So now, there's no reason to go and get Lamar. I feel like he can do better things with the asset there.
Yeah, 100%. You're right. That probably is close to Lamar's price. Maybe not quite that much, but yeah, I'm a big Bo Nix fan. Are you a Bo Nix fan?
Yeah,
I mean,
I
clearly he can put the points on the board, but what do you think?
I loved Bo Nix just from a quarterback or strategy perspective as far as last year's rookie drafts, right? You were getting this guy late first, early second in
Yep.
most leagues, and then look what he did. So, he was somebody that easily just kind of shot up dynasty rankings. And any of those guys that were picked there at the back end of the first round, you can get that and plus so much more now, just because Bo Nix is a quarterback. So it just goes to show you, what the quarterbacks can do value wise, especially when you're able to get them late. And he has the draft capital. So, it was just people just
Yeah.
didn't like him just because they didn't think he had the upside. But
Yeah, what do you think about this in terms of quarterbacks that have reps, lots of college reps? I mean, that's something that can be attractive to like real NFL teams. I guess it depends on the GM, but what do you think about that in terms of a quote unquote old quarterback coming in from college just because he's got a lot of games under his belt, lots of experience and confidence? But go ahead.
I think with Bo Nix, at least, he was a very just solid quarterback. Like he wasn't great at necessarily everything, but he's a smart quarterback. Doesn't really turn the ball over much. He's smart with his decisions and how he can read the defenses, and he kind of just plays it safe. So being that some of these quarterbacks, they spend a little more time, like we hate older players and for the court that come out of college, but for the quarterback position, you could say it's a little bit different. They get a little bit more experience to kind of learn, a
Mhm.
pro system, right? And depending on, what college they go to, that will matter as well. But for the most part, we just don't like older quarterbacks. For me, quarterback is the hardest position to judge when it comes to, rookies. Even the NFL gets that wrong year in
Yeah.
and year out. So, who am I to say who's good or not? But yeah.
Yeah. Well, speaking of rookie quarterbacks, these rookie quarterbacks, what are your thoughts on them? Everybody likes to talk about the wide receivers and tight ends and running backs, not the quarterbacks as much this year. What do you think?
I think Cam Ward has some more upside than Shador does. I think Shador he'll be okay, but more in that, Jared Golfish, I guess, type range, or even below that, really. I mean, Jared Goff is so underrated for, what he's doing right now in his age. Like, he's not
Yeah.
that old. And you could argue putting up better numbers than Patrick Mahomes or, right there with him. So,
Yep.
Jared Goff is a very, very underrated quarterback there. But, I just lost track. What were we talking about again?
No, we're talking Cam Ward and Shador
Cam Ward,
Sanders.
that's right.
You're good, bro.
So So yeah, I mean, now that we're getting more towards the rookie draft, people are liking Cam Ward a lot more just because of, what he can do, his legs and some of the upside that he has, which is typically what we do every year, right? Same thing with Jaden Daniels last year. Once we got towards the draft, we started pushing him upwards. So, Cam Ward is going to be pushed up more than Shador is. And we'll see what happens with Shador, but I don't think there is a rock solid, definitely going to hit quarterback. I think there are some different outcomes that can happen. Cam Ward goes to the Titans, and what do we really think about him going there? They haven't been able to develop any quarterback, so there's always some risk there. And that's the hard part about Superflex, right? Because we need the quarterbacks.
Yeah,
But then again, you swing and miss and it hurts. So
it
the
does
good
hurt.
thing, the good thing about Cam Ward is he does have some upside, and he's probably gonna get, another chance or a chance after chance there. So he's a little bit safer, I feel like, than Shador as far as value wise and what people are gonna think of him, towards the end of the season, even if he doesn't have a great season. So give me some Cam Ward there. But we're yet to know what's going to happen at the quarterback position.
Sure.
There's been rumblings of Shador falling to the second round or not even a first round pick. So we'll see what happens. It's still a little too early to kind of tell.
Yeah, we're getting there, man. We're getting there. What is it? 30, it's 30 days from today, right? Is the first day of the NFL draft. Exciting stuff. So we've got Lottery Hoops. This is a cool logo. has a question for us. It's a 12-team Superflex start 9. Mahomes, Nix, and May at quarterback. Has Kyron at running back, Rice at wide receiver, and then Ingram at tight end. Mostly cans otherwise. Stevie, you know what cans is, trash cans. So we have the 101, 103, 106, 111, and then the 212, 426 first, 426 seconds. And the question is, buy a couple vets this offseason or see how the first few weeks go? What do you think? Shallow 12 teams, start 9, Superflex.
I mean, this is what we gather picks for, so we can buy some of these hammers. So you have the assets, so go and spend them, right? See who is available. I like to just start from the top and then just work my way down, right? Start at JJ and just, or Chase and just start working your way down. Who can you get? And depending how far you get down, then you can start to kind of see, okay, I can't get these guys, so now I have to do a different approach. With the quarterbacks you have, I mean, you can say you have a pretty solid squad as far as the quarterbacks are concerned, so you should be in it per se as far as making the playoffs. So now it's just, okay, what can I do with these picks? So how does the league value those picks? Can you do a couple different combinations or and see what you can get there as far as those picks are concerned. Worst comes to worst, you make the picks, but that's kind of the last option, right? At least for me. Like I like to gather the picks, but I don't want to make every pick, right? There's opportunities that come up that allow you to move off. And then you got 426 first as well. So you got plenty of ammunition. It's really about finding out who is available and who, what hammers can you buy. So I'm surfing around and seeing what hammers are available, and yeah, I'm good with spending those picks.
Yeah, those are some nice picks to have too. You've got picks that people want. 103, 106. You've got 3 inside the top 6. That's always very valuable in a 12 team.
Right.
Okay.
And you had high enough picks where they don't have to be vets that you're buying. They could be, some good core pieces that you can buy as well. So,
this is true. Let's go to I see Penix being mentioned here. Would you trade Penix for JJ? Is the question here. Wait, Penix for JJ?
JJ McCarthy?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess JJ McCarthy. Would you trade Michael Penix for JJ McCarthy?
I mean, they're relatively close.
Kind of the same thing.
I mean, it's kind of the same. I mean, Jay, I know you've been asking some of this player or that player. It's not going to make a difference whether you win the ship or not, whether you have one guy over the other. It's just not. We call that just a lateral move. And that is just you having conviction of one player over the next. There's not much strategy that goes into it. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that at all. That's just not the way that I like to play. I like to go through the ups and downs of the market, right? I'm trying to buy low and sell high. Right. I mean, every week there's opportunity for you to move off of players and to buy players. So, I'm trying to, that's how I like to play, but there's nothing wrong with picking one or the other, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, well said. Well said. Let's go to Kevin S had a question. Where would you put Penix and McCarthy in this year's draft? Let's call it a super flex, full point, tight end premium. So, where would we put Penix and McCarthy? 106?
Yeah, probably a little earlier than that even. I mean, with some of the guys there, you could start, like I mentioned before, kind of that 105-ish area is what I would pay. But as far as where they would be in this year's draft, they'd probably be right after Jeanty, pretty much, and then depending on some of the landing spots, maybe you might like a running back or something better. But these are quarterbacks that we know are in good situations now. So it's kind of hindsight looking in. But at the same time, they'd be, top 3-4 picks.
Yeah,
they would.
They would have to be. They would have to be when you're talking about super flex. You just have to insert the quarterback somewhere, right?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think about Warren coming into this year? I mean, Brock Bowers obviously just he put a monster year up, and he's going to be the best tight end ever for a long time. is how people see it. So did he switch the tight end market a ton, or is Warren actually like that good?
I mean, Warren is really good, but again,
Yeah.
what situation is he going to go to, right? It's so hard to judge some of the tight ends. I mean, they can be great athletes and everything, but what happens when he does go to the Colts? What are we really going to think there at that point? Who they can't even support one good like wide receiver. So I don't like that spot, and I know there's been talk about him going there, but is AR the quarterback? Does somebody else come in? There's just always a number of questions, and what happened last year was an anomaly, right? It's not normal what we saw. You're not going to see that all the time. Almost the same situation as when we saw Puka, right? That year that Puka came out, right? A late round draft pick. You got him really late in your rookie drafts, and now everybody thinks they're going to find the next Puka Nacua and Tank Dell. And that's just not. It's just not going to happen. Those are, outcasts. They just don't happen like that. I mean, look at last year. I mean, how many of those third round pick wide receivers that everybody loved, the Javon Bakers and all of those guys, and look what they did. Like absolutely nothing. So
yeah, we got T Sandford's in the house. What's up? What's up, dude? Good to see you. That's our boy. So let's see if I missed any of let's see this David Ross question here. Would you do 103 and Knicks for one of Josh Allen, Jaden Daniels, or Jalen Hurts?
it's kind of just like the other one where it's probably what it costs to go get those guys, but really just depends on your team and what assets you have. Like I'm probably not trying to move up to one of those guys if I don't need to, if I don't have the assets. So, that's what you got to pay, but I'm probably looking to try and do something else with the 103 than just tier up to one of those hammer quarterbacks.
Like what is JSN costs every bit of 103, doesn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
So, I mean, you think of it as JSN and Bo Nix. Would you give JSN and Bo Nix for Josh Allen?
It's a fair trade, but is
Yeah.
it worth it to do that? Like, what
Right.
is the strategy behind it, right? What's your plan for why you want to make such a move? That's really what you got to think about, and that's just kind of knowing your team and what you want to do. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just strategy wise, it's probably something I don't want to do unless I really do have the assets.
And you always do want to just get something thrown back in as well, because you never know if some backup running back you can end up turning into something cool, or you end up having a Chase Brown on your hands out of nowhere, or insert whatever name. Yeah, good stuff there. We are just going to hit another couple and then call it an evening, actually. Oh, we've got somebody from the Twitter house here. Let's see. Brady. How do you say this name, Stevie? What do you got here, man?
Brady Brucewitz.
Nailed it. Rashid Shaheed or a 26 second. This is a 10-team Superflex, half PPR, full PPR for tight ends, start 11. Says has Jefferson, Nabers, Adams, Myers, Tillman. So Rashid Shaheed or a 26 second.
I'll take the second.
Just
I know
for
it's a 26,
flexibility
but
purposes.
yeah, I'll just take the second
Yeah.
for flexibility purpose. I don't know what's going to happen with Shaheed. Like, yes, he has an opportunity. He looked great last year, but he'll never be worth a first. And there's a chance he might not be worth a second. So if you can get a second for him, I'll take a second.
Yeah. Yeah. No, exactly. He's not going to be worth a first.
No.
It's almost like the name alone. Like he just will never reach reach a first round value, Rashid Shaheed is never going to be getting you the 103 like no. JSN would. Yeah. Okay. Let's go. We have, do you answer questions from X? Yes, we do. They actually do pop up. I see them every once in a while. So yes, they do, X people. Okay, let's go to, what is this? Are you taking shots on Anthony Richardson on the cheap? Where are you at with him? What is cheap? Let's how about, will you, I don't know, 226 seconds in the Superflex?
No, I don't think I'm paying that. I don't think I'm
126 second.
AR5 is just, he's in a weird situation where he has an opportunity. We know the upside that he has, but he's on a very, very short leash. You know, he does not
Yeah.
have a long leash at all.
You
So
don't
he's
want
not
that
a guy
team.
that's going to continue to get opportunities. Once I think he's done, he's going to be just done at that point. So 126 second, if I have a few, I'm okay with spending it. But yeah, definitely not 2.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's like this crazy physical specimen, but he gets so banged up, man. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Right.
If you're
And
saying that,
not only banged up, but can he win like for an NFL team?
yeah.
You know, great for fantasy, kind of like Justin Fields as well, where they're great for fantasy, but are they actually helping the team win, you know, to be able to get another contract and be the face of the franchise? So
Where are you at with Justin Fields?
I mean, that's kind of where I am. Like I'm okay with him for if you need to roll with him for this year, absolutely 100%. If you want to roll with you know, him as your QB2, absolutely fine with that. But I
Yeah.
worry after this season. You know, I worry about his future. I don't know if he's going to get another contract. Is he going to be able to actually win football games on a Jets team that's just been a dead place for quarterbacks for, you
Ugh.
know, the longest time? I mean, you know, we saw it with Sam Darnold, and now look what Sam Darnold is doing. You know, Zach Wilson was just never that good to begin with, but he never was given a fair shot also. I mean, the team's just been bad. So, you know, you do have an option there with Garrett Wilson, which I do like. We
Mhm.
saw what Fields can do with DJ Moore. Kind of opens up to that deep passing game a little bit. So, and Garrett Wilson's always been one to command targets. So, you know,
Yes.
of course, I like Garrett Wilson there, but I just don't know about Fields for the long run. For this season, I love it. I'm fine with rolling him out there as a QB2, but I don't know about the future. Can I trade him at the end of the season? Can I trade him
Yeah.
during the season? You know,
So let me ask you this, because you mentioned Garrett Wilson. I was thinking of the thumbnail that I made, and I think Tet McMillan's on there. Where's your head at with Tet?
I like Ted a lot. He grades pretty well in Matt Harmon's reception perception as well. He's just a big guy. He's going to command targets. He can move around a little bit too. He doesn't have to be just at, you know, as an X receiver. He's good off the line from press coverage, and he's really good in zone coverage. He's really good at finding the soft spots. He had over an 80% success rate on Matt Harmon's reception for zone coverage. So looking really good there, 80th percentile against press coverage. So I like McMillan. Where is he going to go? You know, what opportunities is he going to have for the team that he gets on? But he could be one of those next big you know, one of those next big wide receivers to make a name for himself. So they call him a little bit Drake Londonish, Mike
Yeah,
Evans.
right.
I don't know if he's got the profile of necessarily a Drake London, probably a little bit below that, but he's got an opportunity in the right system to really be a good wide receiver.
What do you think happened with Marv last year?
I think that for the most part, like you didn't really see anything easy, right? You didn't see like just straight slants to Marvin Harrison, right? Like you didn't see
Yeah,
anything of that. They made him run a lot of deep routes. Kyler as an NFL quarterback, I know it's hard for him to see. You see him scrambling around back there, you know. And Marvin Harrison is a guy that's very like intuitive. He's on what's the best way to say it? Just on a dime. He's a very good route runner, and the ball has to
mhm,
be there when it's supposed to be there. And you know, he's a guy that's great on sideline catches, getting his feet in bounds, you know, getting open in general. But I just feel like they didn't use him to his strengths per se. Like they just made it a lot harder than it should have been on him. And I would have loved to see just some more straight slants to Marvin Harrison and things of that nature, moving him around in the
yeah, yeah,
formation a little bit more. So I just think they didn't really feature him as much. And then you got Trey McBride there as well. So I think they just need to
right.
find out their identity. Okay, how can we get Marv the ball? What's the best ways to get him the ball? And Kyler's got to be part of that as well. You know, don't just give me the, oh, I just throw the ball to who's open and the coach called the plays. Like, no, don't give me that. Like, be a leader, get your guy the
Yeah.
ball. You know, so
Kyler is so frustrating to watch, man.
he
He's
is.
so frustrating.
He is.
He like turns around, he's getting chased, and then he just does like some like crazy shit, or like, makes a nice run or whatever. But he's so frustrating unless you're a Trey McBride owner and you're more
Right.
than happy.
Right.
But other than that, you're like,
And
Kyler, man.
Right, right. And I'm not blaming, Kyler or just the offense necessarily. Like Marv needs to do better as well. But at the same time, like they've got to make an effort to make him one of the focal points like of the offense. So
Yeah, David Ross saying Kyler's so frustrating to have on a roster. Yeah, his name is better than his fantasy output.
yeah.
Oftentimes, it's kind of
Yeah,
a
well,
bummer.
that's the hard part about Kyler is every season he's healthy, the worst season he's put up is QB 10.
Yeah, I know.
So,
He's like
you
right
know,
there.
right. Like he's always just right there. Like he's a good kind of buy low candidate where people are just a little bit sour. And like then when you look at the numbers, you're like, all right, he actually wasn't that bad,
Yeah, yeah. Well, dude, this was this is an awesome show, man.
Yeah.
Super smooth. I really appreciate you hopping on and great engagement with the crowd as well. I definitely have some orphans that need to be filled immediately and in some listener leagues, but I decided not to do that tonight. I'm going to do that on the X machine tomorrow, so be around for that. If that makes any fucking sense. Let's drop the F-bomb one more time. But no, Stevie, where can people find you, man? You got the smooth voice, you got the not Boston accent, you got the Staten Island accent. Where can people find you, sir?
So you can find me on Instagram, Dynasty Life Fantasy, on Instagram, and then YouTube, Dynasty Life Fantasy Football. We also do Facebook as well. My X is up there also, so you can follow me there. I do the least amount of work on X, mostly Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. So you can find me there. And then I do have a community chat as well on Discord. It is free to join. So feel free for anybody to join in there. On any of my handles, you will find the link there for the Discord as well.
I can roll, dude. All right. Well, appreciate everybody in the crowd and the 366 eyeballs still watching as we sign off. Enjoyed it, and we will see you next time. Cheers.
Peace.